Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about what January is going to be like for each of the 12 signs. Now, I know I already went through all 12 signs individually for the entire year of 2025, but now I want to specify exactly what you're going to be looking at individually for just the month of January. So before I get going, I always want to remind everyone that, first of all, I'm a Vedic astrologer. I do sidereal astrology, and you cannot be looking at these from your sun sign. Western tropical sun sign. I know from the comments, people do. I can tell them till I'm blue in the face and I still don't get it. This is not Western astrology. Oh my goodness, people don't listen, do they? But if you want to get your predictions correct, then you need to find out what your Vedic moon sign or ascendant sign are, because this is what I'm talking to. And it will not make sense. And these are very specific predictions. I want you to get them right and hear what you need to know. So if you don't know them, you can go to my website. My website is galacticcenter.org, and I have a free chart calculator. You have to put all your information in, and then you can scroll down to the very bottom, look for AS and MO. You listen to both of these. Whatever sign, your AS is your ascendant, your MO is your moon. So you want to listen to your ascendant and moon sign. And another thing is, the best way to figure out your ascendant moon sign, I'm serious, is my galactic planner. It will give you your entire chart, a printout with everything on it. Your moon, your whole chart, everything. So how can you get that? Go to galacticplanner.com. And when you join the Galactic Planner, you're going to get your own personal predictions, better than this, every day delivered to your calendar. So you will be able to see every day what aspects are occurring to your personal chart and descriptions on what to do, what to be aware of, opportunities or setbacks. It will give you all of this in plain English. So go to galacticplanner.com. But please make sure you have the right sign when you're listening to this. Yes, Vedic astrology is more predictive and it is more accurate. Those of you that base this on your Western sun sign, or say that Vedic doesn't fit you, you have to understand it's an entire science. It's not about sun signs. Sun signs actually do a disfavor for astrology. How can you say everyone's going to have the same experience that's born for a month? It's absolutely preposterous and does a disfavor for astrology. I know you think you're your sun sign and it fits, a lot of you, but stop it. We've got to get real with astrology. That was just kind of fun. This is the real deal. And so I want you to get it right. So here we go. Now that you have your correct ascendant, sidereal Vedic ascendant, and moon sign, let's get going and let's start to talk about what this year is going to bring you. So, starting with Aries, if your moon or your ascendant sits in the sign of Aries, I'm looking at this back and forth Mars as it's transiting, because it's going to have a major effect for everyone. And Mars is going to be in your fourth house till the 20th of January. And that means things are getting torn up around the house. Maybe you're redecorating or you're renovating your home, or maybe you're just cleaning out closets and clearing things out. But it's time for big changes in the household. And you might find that there are maybe some problems with your family going on, that people are in disagreement and just not coming together in a good way around the house. Your sense of security's been threatened somewhat. And if your mother's still around, check on her. Although she may not be in the greatest disposition, she could be a little bit argumentative, but just be aware of these things. Now, after the 20th, Mars is going to go into your third house. And this is the house that deals with your communication skills and travels. So you might find that all of a sudden you're traveling unexpectedly or commute, but you're going places. Furthermore, it can mean that you are excited about learning something new. You're going to go to school, you're going to get some education, or just read more, but you're learning a lot of new things here. And if you have a brother or sister, you might find that you could have some conflicts with them as well, but this is after the 20th. Now, I notice that the Rahu and the Neptune conjunction will be in your 12th house. So there's something about listen to your dreams. There's some amazing information that's trying to get through to you. So listen to that. It's very exaggerated, but things of the past you're not seeing clearly. But let me just say, after March, you will see them clearly. But right now, you're kind of in the dark and you don't understand or see the reality or truth of some things. And it may even be disturbing your sleep. So be aware of that. So this is basically what I see happening for you specifically this month of January. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign sit in the sign of sidereal Taurus, then this means that Mars, all the way till the 20th of this month, sits in your 3rd house. So conflicts with siblings are definitely possible, but if you don't have siblings or you're not around them very much, you're going to find that you're going to be commuting more. You're going to be in the car. You've been driving a lot more lately, or maybe going on some sporadic, unexpected trips. You are definitely learning a lot of new information, and things are coming up that you wanted to learn before. Now you have the opportunity to learn some new subjects, new information. Now, after the 20th, Mars is going to go back into your 2nd house. Be very cautious of your spending. Yes, you can be a little impulsive with your spending, so pull back. Don't do anything impulsively when it comes to spending. But all at the same time, you might be forced to spend suddenly on things you didn't intend to. And that's usually stuff with car breaking down or things that you didn't expect to have to spend around the house or with your car. Now, Neptune and Rahu are in your 11th house. So be careful of the people you hang around with. Yes, you're meeting some very influential people probably, or some new people are coming into your life, but be careful towards the end of the month. Are they being honest? Are they being real? Are they trying to coerce you to do something you don't want to do? Listen to your gut feeling. Chances are they are. And some of these so-called friends are not necessarily really friends. Okay. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Gemini, then this month you are having to spend more. A lot of things are happening. Now, this goes all the way up to the 20th of this month, but you're having to spend a lot more. There's unforeseen expenses that hit. Be careful what you say, too. And you might have some problems with your teeth, your mouth, but be careful. Don't speak out without thinking before you talk. And you might find that there's some conflicts, too, around the family. Now, Mars is going to retrograde back into your 1st house starting the 20th of January. And you're going to find that you have more energy, you have more drive, more ambition, but don't be too impulsive or impatient, or you could set yourself up for accidents. Now, the Neptune Rahu are in your 10th house, your career, your position. You've risen to a pretty interesting position, but be careful not to be swayed by deceptive illusions or ideas. Just be practical, but yes, you are being very well noticed for the work you're doing. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Cancer, then Mars is in your first house all the way till January 20th. This will give you more drive and ambition, but it does make you impatient and it makes you a bit angrier. But since Mars is in the sign of Cancer, which is your ascendant, you have a hard time expressing your feelings, especially when you're unhappy or angry. You've got to find a way to express it so that you don't repress these feelings that can make you sick. Now, after the 20th of January, Mars will revert back into your 12th house. And this means be aware of secret enemies, people that, and when I say secret enemies, I'm not talking about anyone that you want to associate with at all. It's people that talk behind your back is basically what I'm talking about. Or thieves. People that could rob you or even steal some of your intellectual information. So be aware that people could be stealing stuff from you or talking behind your back. And this is after the 20th of January. Now, the Neptune-Rahu conjunctions in your 9th house. Be aware that you can be easily swayed by cults and different belief systems, but you're searching for something more meaningful and more spiritual. That's a good thing. Maybe reading more, getting more in touch with your soul's energy. Now, if your father's still around, there could be some issues with him, something you don't know about, something you can't see. So if he's complaining about any aches or pains, get him checked out just to be on the safe side. But you will find that this is coming up on a year where I think there's going to be more traveling to many, many places far and wide. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Leo, then Mars is in your 12th house all the way till the 20th of January. Mars in the 12th can mean secret enemies. What do I mean by that? People that are talking behind your back. And for the most part, they can be in the workplace. So just be aware of that. People are probably jealous and they talk behind your back. But also be aware that there could be some instances of thieves around you, maybe even, breaking into your car or home, or just stealing intellectual property. Be aware of this. People are doing things behind your back. And I must say, because of some of this, you get a sense of it, you might be having problems sleeping. So sleep is disturbed. Now, the Mars will go retrograde back when it goes into Gemini, into your 11th house. And this means that friends will be disruptive. And if you have an older sibling, they will be a problem. They can be very disruptive or argumentative. But for the most part, friends can be a problem. They can fight, they can leave, they can be very disruptive and a problem for you. So be aware that your friends are not being friends. And some of your social groups may be very disruptive. You may want to change. Now, the Neptune and Rahu are in your 8th house. And this means this is a time of deep introspection, psychological analysis. And by the time we come to March and April, your 8th house is going to be loaded. A lot of things from the past, a lot of things you didn't know about will surface and come to realization. And it is a tough time psychologically. Lots of inner work will be processed and completed. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Virgo, then Mars will be in your 11th house till January 20th. And this means that yeah, your friends are very disruptive and very angry, can attack you for come out of the blue with nothing that you expected. And even your social groups and people you hang with can be a problem. They're just not helpful. And or if you have an older sibling, they can be a problem and very angry or argumentative at this time. So after January 20th, Mars is going to retrograde back into your 10th house, which tells me that there's going to be a lot of disruption around your work and your career, where you're working. Maybe your boss is angry and perturbed with you. Maybe your boss could even leave the office or be switched to a different place. And maybe even the company you work for is going through a tremendous change. So this deals primarily with your work. If you are the boss and you own your business, this will mean there's disruption around the workplace. And a lot of things need to be rehashed and looked at from a different perspective. So work is changing, and even your sense of purpose around the workplace is changing tremendously. Now, the Rahu, Neptune are in your 7th house. And this means there's been a lot of issues around your relationships. There have been problems. And you've got to really be on top of this with your partner. Make sure that they're being honest and real with you. And yes, there's going to be a lot of changes to come, especially around March and April, because this lineup of planets that's going to be in your 7th house can mean major changes within your relationships. Maybe your partner's changing, literally, physically, you're changing partners, or their life and everything about who they are is going through a massive change. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Libra, then Mars is in your 10th house all the way till January 20th. While it's here in your 10th house, everything around your workplace is shifting and changing. Maybe your boss is changing. Maybe you're being put in a different department. But there's a lot of people around the workplace that are angry and upset about things. And if you own your own business, then you know that, yeah, people that work around the workplace, they're not being cooperative, or things are not working out like you planned. And there are a lot of issues and things to be worked out, to go back review, because Mars is retrograde. It's going to cause some upsets about things that have been going on and some new things that need to be implemented around the workplace. So Mars will retrograde back by the 20th of January into your 9th house, which means there is a quest for spiritual knowledge during this time. And you might find that you're going to be traveling unexpectedly, but most of all, you're really searching some new information and knowledge. There can be some unexpected travel plans where you get to go some places unexpectedly. Furthermore, with Mars in the 9th house, if your father's still around, he may be very difficult to be around. He may be argumentative and have some issues with you. So be careful and aware of that. Now, Neptune and Rahu are in your 6th house. And this represents health and healing. And definitely some issues around the workplace are cropping up again with employees or with co-workers. They're not being real or honest with you. And you must be very cognizant of your health, taking care of yourself and getting a lot of rest. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Scorpio, then this Mars is in your 9th house, and you will be having issues with your father if he's still around. Now, the other issues that if you're in school or you're taking any courses or classes, you might find that you have some issues with your teachers, your professors, as well as with Mars being in your 9th house, you're really searching for meaning and spirituality and truth. And yes, you may be going on a trip unexpectedly. Now, Mars is going to revert back into your 8th house. And this is intense. The 8th house deals with psychological studies and self-analysis. So you're going to find that you're going deep. Now, this is after the 20th of January. Mars has already been there. So you're probably rehashing and finishing up some business you already started with your psychological understanding. You really want to get to the core and essence and research who you are and what you're here to do. And this can be a very healing time for you. Now, the Neptune and Rahu have been in your 5th house. So if you do have children, they can be, you got to watch what they're doing and where they are, because they can be sneaky and be doing things that you don't know about. But I'll tell you, this is a great time for creative talents. But be careful with investing, because you may not be basing things on solid information. And let me just say that the 5th house is the house that deals with investments, but it is also the house that can deal with advice. So be careful what advice that you're giving other people. It's important that you know this. And Neptune Rahu here, you will obsess about things. It's unusual for you to be so compulsive or thinking about things the way you've been doing this lately. So just realize this is temporary. You're not going to be like this forever. So if your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Sagittarius, then this means that Mars is in your 8th house. And the 8th house deals with deep psychological work, getting to the core and the bottom of why things are the way they are. But it's not easy. This is a time of deep analytical introspection of yourself. But it can also be a great time for you to do some serious research in different areas of interest. And the 8th house can deal with money with other people. Do be careful of the money you're spending or that your partner's spending, that maybe you don't see it clearly the way it really is. Now, Mars is, after the 20th of January, is going to retrograde back into your 7th house. You'll find that you have more issues with your partner. There can be some arguments. There can be some anger, some disruption. Be aware of this. This is a time that relationships, it's very temporary, but it's still going to be disruptive and disturbing what the partner may say or do in your relationship. Handle it well. Don't be angry or attack verbally. Okay? So, the Neptune and Rahu conjunction are in your 4th house. The 4th house deals with your home, your past, your family. And this means there's something that you're probably not seeing. And even with your home, this is towards the end of the month and also through April. Be aware there can be something leaking under the home, or somewhere there can be a problem under the home or something you can't see. It could be a flood, it could be a gas leak, but it could be water. Be very cognizant and aware of this. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Capricorn, then this means that Mars is transiting in your 7th house. Yes, the 7th house is your partnerships, and it will be here till the 20th of January. So you will find your partner being more argumentative, more angry, and spew at you about things that you didn't expect. Just be prepared and know that it's about something in the past that's been bothering them. Maybe it needs to come up to be resolved. So by the time of the 20th of January, Mars is going to go into your 6th house. And this means you've got to watch your health, or maybe not be so impulsive, because you could be more prone to accidents during this time. But Mars being in the 6th house can mean that you can review and reassess some things concerning your health to find that you're going to be healthier. But around the workplace, please be aware that employees or coworkers can be angrier and unpredictable. So just be aware of that. And if you have any pets, be careful. They could be accident prone or have some health issues as well. Now, the Neptune and Rahu are in your 3rd house. There could be something about a sibling that you don't see coming, or they don't understand, or they don't know, or maybe it's some deception with them. Be cautious. Now, you might find that this is a time of new studies for spiritual search or journey, and maybe going on a trip that will expose and bring things to light that you've been wondering about and wanting to learn about. If your ascendant or your moon sign sit in Aquarius, then this means that Mars is in your 6th house. And in the 6th house, this can mean problems with employees or coworkers, that they're unreasonable. They come out about things that you didn't think about, but just make sure that you can find peace in this and not make it so totally disruptive that it's terrible. So this is a good thing. Now, also the 6th house deals with your health, your physical being. So be cautious not to be too impulsive. That could cause accidents. And or take care of your health. Be more health conscious. This could be a time that you could get healthier. And if you have any pets, be aware they could have accidents or they could have health problems. By January 20th, Mars will revert back into your 5th house. So if you have children, then they could be a little bit more argumentative or angry. You've got to give them more attention and understanding and compassion, because they're acting out for a reason. Now, with Mars also being in your 5th house, you have bright ideas and some things you've been thinking about in terms of entrepreneurship. Yes, you've got to bring it up and start working on it and reviewing it. It's time to do so. It may not be the greatest time for investments, though. Be cautious. Now, the Rahu Neptune are in your 2nd house. So yes, you need to be cautious of your spending. Don't be impulsive or impatient when it comes to spending. So if your moon sign or your ascendant sit in the sign of Pisces, then this means that Mars is in your 5th house, and it's going to be there till January 20th. And while Mars is there in your 5th house, it will activate ideas and creative ideas, and anything you've been thinking about for entrepreneurship or things like that, you'll come back to working on something that you already started. But all at the same time, do not be obsessed about things, because Mars being here can make you obsessed. This is your mind, your thinking, and you could be a little angry about what's been going on in your life. If you have children, then this means your children are acting out and can definitely be a problem. So they're angry. Listen to them, hear them out, let them express themselves. There's something that needs to be talked about. But with the 5th house being the house of creativity, this is a time that your creative ideas will blossom and grow. And there's something that I think you've already started working on that you have to go back and reassess and reevaluate. Do not invest this month. This is not the greatest month for investments while Mars is retrograde in your 5th house. Now, Mars is going to retrograde back into your 4th house after January 20th. And this tells me that there's going to be a lot of disruption going on in your home. Maybe you're renovating. Maybe you're changing things up. maybe redecorating. Seems like it's kind of a mess. It's probably a great time for you, though, to clean things out, clean out closets, get rid of things, but make a clearing in your house. And if your mother's still around, then your mom may need attention. But let me just say this, she's going to be argumentative and not so agreeable, but do check on her, make sure that she's okay during this time. Now, the Neptune and Rahu are in your first house. And this is important because you feel like you look different, you feel different. Something about who you are is changing. And of course, you got to know that by the time we come to March and April, there's going to be like 7 planets in your first house. You're going through an overhaul, a major change and transformation in your life, and it is just starting up now. Let me just say, you don't know who you are yet, and you are about to discover some amazing things and some changes that you can implement in your life that will change things forever. And this is a turning point for you this year. So with that, I have covered all 12 signs of the zodiac. And I just want you to know that this year is going to be monumental changes for everyone. So go ahead, and this is a time for forward progressive thinking. So with that, I think I'll close. Remember, if this inspired you to learn astrology, I have a school. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com, and it's self-paced. You can learn this anytime. Go to UVA and become my student. Thank you.